Chapter 1, Colonies, page 2. In 1754, there were 13 American colonies stretching from New Hampshire to Georgia. Although some of them had contact with each other, they were, for the most part, separate from each other. There wasn't much trade between one region of the colonies and another. People in Maryland generally did not communicate very often with people in Massachusetts. Next page, page 3. All of that would change fast. In the course of one generation, the 13 colonies would form a new country that would defeat one of the great military forces on the planet. That new nation would inspire other parts of the world to rebel. Because of these colonies, world history would change. But before we look at these events, let's review the colonies. Southern colonies. Today, we divide the colonies into 3 groups. Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia were the Southern colonies. Virginia was the oldest of the colonies. It began with Jamestown, the first permanent colony, in 1607. Jamestown survived and eventually spread into the colony of Virginia, which went from the Chesapeake Bay all the way to the edge of the Appalachian Mountains. Maryland was started in 1632. Its founder, Lord Baltimore, came from a wealthy Catholic family. Because of this, Maryland was known for its toleration of Catholics. North and South Carolina were originally started as one colony, but later split into 2. Turn the page. Georgia was the last of the 13 colonies. When it began, its founder, James Oglethorpe, wanted it to be a safe place for people who had been sent to jail because they owed money. The colony was named for King George II of Great Britain. One of the most important crops in the New World introduced the Europeans was tobacco. The southern colonies had a long growing season and good soil. Because of the nature of tobacco farming, the southern colonies had larger farms, known as plantations, than the colonies in the north. The southern colonies also had more slaves than the other colonies. New England. The four New England colonies were Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and New Hampshire. Massachusetts was the first of the New England colonies. It grew out of the Plymouth colony and another colony known as the Massachusetts Bay Colony. 2 other New England colonies were started by people who disagreed with Governor John Winthrop of Massachusetts about religion. One was Roger Williams, who took some of his followers and started the colony of Rhode Island. Another was Thomas Hooker, who started the colony of Connecticut. The colonists in New England found it hard to grow crops because of the rocky soil, cold climate, and short growing season. The main exports of the New England colonies were fish, lumber, and things made from lumber like ships. Turn the page, page 5. Because the New England colonies were so small, they did have some dealings with each other. They also fought alongside each other against Native American tribes, such as the Mohegans, the Narragasnicks, and the Pequois. These tribes were largely wiped out by the invasion of these English colonists. Today, for instance, there are only about 1,000 members of the Paraguay tribe still alive. Middle colonies. New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware are known as the middle colonies. These colonies had better soil than the New England colonies. Because of this, they grew lots of wheat and corn and became known as the breadbasket colonies. New York was started by colonists from the Netherlands. Since the capital of the Netherlands is Amsterdam, the colony was originally known as New Amsterdam. In 1664, New Amsterdam was taken over by the English, who changed the name to New York. York is an important city in England. William Penn founded Pennsylvania. It was originally started to allow all Christians to worship freely, especially those known as Quakers. Many Quakers had been run out of their colonies, especially Massachusetts.